Hey everybody, this is Scott with Going Ape Fireworks, and this is another edition of the Ape Escape. Hope you had a great weekend. I was chatting with a customer slash a really good friend of mine that I met, and basically, we were chatting over the weekend, and he had mentioned to me, he's like, hey, I really like your series, but I definitely would like to throw out a suggestion, and I said, hey, that's super awesome, definitely. Always open to feedback. So with that being said, he brought up, maybe give some different opinions as far as the different types of shows. So this is 101. This is Fireworks 101 for basically a beginner, somebody that's going to kind of just be starting out, and then we'll do two more for medium, and then expert. Again, I'm no expert. I'm just giving my opinion and what I believe. So take it for what it's worth. Hopefully some of this, if you just get one thing that is useful for you, that would be great. So with that being said, I kind of drew a little diagram here, but what we're going to do is kind of, so first of all, when you're going to do a show, obviously, you're going to get your fireworks, stuff like that, but you're going to try to plan ahead, but you want to pick a spot. So with this is just kind of like a yard. And then what I would say is, you plan your seating right back here in this area here. And then your show is where you're going to go. So what I typically do is, and obviously it just depends on this scenario. If you're in a yard, then I like to put up some type of a barrier. Like I said before, you could take a sheet of plywood, and nail it to a couple pallets is typically what I do, because I get so many pallets. So then if something tips over, it's going to shoot at the board as opposed to the audience. If you're going to do it in the street, some people like to glue the stuff down to a board. That's definitely a good idea. If you don't really have a board, the biggest thing would be to do is get those wood stakes and stake those down at least into two sides, or put bricks on either side of the cake. So that's what I would do there. And then just make sure that you're securing the cakes when you do set them up. So this is typically what I do. So when I'm going to line up a show, basically, first of all, what I do is I take the cake and I'll take a razor blade and I'll cut the top off, take that off. I save them if you look like on the back. This is in my garage here. This is some of them on the wall. And then obviously you get your fuse, make sure you get that, ready to go where it is, pull it out. You don't want to be searching for that when you're trying to shoot stuff off. So you pick your spot. Number one, pick a spot, pick, okay? First thing. Then the second thing you want to worry about is make sure when you do set everything out, what I do is I typically line them in a row. Make sure that they're secure, like I said, whether with a board or a stake. So you want to secure them. So, and I do it this way here, and this is the reason why. I know I said cut off the tops. That's definitely, that cutting off the tops is going to make it really like no mess, like pretty much just brown caps. Okay. So yeah, you cut off the tops there, and then the wicks. I said there, wicks. Okay, so you get the wicks ready. Okay, so, and then you pick out your landing, how you're gonna do it. So I do it like this. I put them in a row. Like let's say if you have a couple of the same ones, you might wanna put it like here and like over there. So the reason why I do this is for this reason. Now everybody does something different, but this is one way to do it. And again, that's why I said this is 101. We'll go over different ways too, as far as with shells and stuff like that down the road, if you're going to do like slices and all that kind of stuff. But this is just the basics, okay? So this back here is my shells. So you typically want to make sure you have two people with you. I've done it a couple ways. I've done like a pallet here, make a square, and then, a board, screw a board on the top, and then put my tubes right up here on the sides. And I'll show you why I do that. And basically there, so when you do the wicks for the shells, what I do typically is I'll take them and I'll you know, get them all ready to go. Again, you want to have everything set up. So once you get your tubes there, and you know, your cutoffs and your wicks, has to do with the wicks. You take, or what I do is I'll take the shells and I'll put them in groups of 4 or how many ever tubes I have on each side. And then I'll put them in a pile and I'll take a piece of Scotch tape and I'll tape the wick together and then just basically put them like in a basket or, you know, a box and just, you know, even them out on each side. So you got 4 here and 4 here. So then when this person here is doing just the shells, you kind of have a game plan. And then you have one person here, which is typically me, doing the cakes. So that's there. So, and that has to do with the wicks with the shell. But obviously, before you do the show, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to plan. You're going to want to have headlights is always good. And make sure you put your wicks facing out on each side. If it's in a corner like this one, I put them in a corner so then I know it's going to be right there and you're going to be able to hit that when you come around to that side. So yeah, definitely, you know, you want to, for sure, if you're going to do, I would say put a bucket of water back here and a bucket of water right here. So then that can come here or in the back, and then this can come in the front or over here. Or fire extinguisher or whatever, but you definitely want to make sure you have 2. Especially when there's 2 people doing 2 different things at the same time. Then once you have a game plan, this is what I would do. Obviously, you can do a couple things. You could do like a fountain to start it off, like, you know, something to do that in the front up here. But again, you want to secure that down. You know, sometimes we'll shoot like a couple salute shells to let everybody know. And then, you know, you can start off with like your 200 grammars, 200, 200, and then, you know, 200 and 350 and then 500 all the way, and then vice versa. So what you do is as you guys have a game plan, and this is again how I do it, you plan your show, and then lastly you shoot off. Okay, so then once you shoot off, so this is what we do. So I would start probably here, and I would probably hit this after I did my beginning show, whether it be a fountain or something kind of cool for the kiddos. I would hit this here and then come around, walk around and do this one, and then walk around here and do this one, and then so on. And then you go in a circle to where you're never walking into the firework. You're walking away from it, okay? By the time you light this one off and you get to here, you wait for this one and that one, then you start heading to here. By that time, this one's still going off, and this one should be just about done or done. And then you hit that one, and then this one, you come around. This one here is going to be about done, and so on. And then if you want a grand finale, what you can do too is you could have the shells towards the end. Obviously, they're popping this off here. And what they do with the shells, they reach in the basket, and they light them off here, drop them, hit them, and then you walk to the other side, and then you get these ready, drop them in. Those go off, you hit those, and then you walk back around. And same thing. So you're never walking into it, you're walking away from it, is kind of what we do there, if that makes sense. And then, like I said, if you're going to do a grand finale, you can always put the grand finale. If you, obviously it's kind of tight, but if you had it squeezed up in here, you had like some big cakes that was far enough from there. But definitely when you're close to the shells, you definitely want to make sure that that's staked down if it's a couple big cakes or something like that. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what would be like your basic show. Again, if it's not in a yard, if it's in the street, you can kind of do the same thing. Have the cakes glued down to a sheet of plywood, liquid nails, so they don't come over, which not everybody can do it in the yard. Or bricks, you know, worst case scenario, if you don't have a board, just make sure that you're using those bricks and planning to set everything up. For the shells, the same thing. You know, if you have them on one side or the other, you know, if you can't plan in a row, you know, maybe 3 over here on this side and 3 over here on this side for the cakes. And then the same thing for the shells. Spread them out to where you're walking back and forth, out of a way of each other, but to the point to where you're going to be, you know, spreading out the show. So that's that for today. You have a great and amazing ape day. And till then, to the next Ape Escape, have a great day.